You're listening to the Nacho Kids Podcast, where we discuss all things step-family related. Real stories, real people, real help. Your hosts are the creators of the Nacho Kids Method and the Nacho Kids Academy Step Family Coaching Team, Lori and David Sims.
Today we have Tabatha Hartman. Hey, Tabatha, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So I was trying to think, how long have we known each other?
Oh my gosh.
So how old is your son?
He just turned 11 a few months ago.
So it's had to have been at least 12, if not 13 years.
12 years, yeah, because I was pregnant with him.
I wasn't sure
That's
if you were pregnant
crazy.
with him when we first started talking or...
Yeah, because I got pregnant with him when I lived in Arizona, and I don't think I hooked up with you guys until I was back.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
That's crazy.
So
Gosh, you've
Tabatha...
seen me through so much.
Yeah. So we ended up in a Facebook group together.
Mm-hmm.
And we've kept in touch throughout the years.
Yeah, off and on.
Yeah. So when I met you, you were in a relationship
Mm-hmm.
and you had a daughter
Yes.
and then you were pregnant
Mm-hmm.
and you ended up leaving their dad.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past couple years, he's passed away.
Yeah, 6 years this year.
Oh my gosh.
2019. So 7, I guess. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that long.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, though, you got remarried and he has 2 kids.
He has 2 kids.
And you have been through it.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you start where you want to start.
Gosh. Well, so I guess it all kind of, I mean, our blend was like better than most. Like, I don't really like to talk about it because it could be a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really blessed in that aspect. So I feel like a lot of issues sort of started when my ex-husband passed away. We were living in Florida and he was in New Hampshire. And it was 7 days before my daughter's 10th birthday. And 8 months after I had just told her that his mother had passed away.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was 9 turning 10. And then sort of after that, I mean, it's really hard to sort of like see someone's downward spiral when you see them on a daily basis, when it's so really imperceptible. Like, I feel like I'm really highly in tune to my child. Like, I wanted a different relationship with my kids. So I try to pay close attention to their emotions, probably more than I should. But I knew she needed therapy, but she didn't seem to want it. So I was letting her sort of guide her grief, because I'm not going to sit her in a chair with somebody when she doesn't want to be there, because it's not going to benefit her.
Right.
So that's sort of what got me to, well, that was sort of like, I guess, one of our biggest things that happened in our family. And for a long time, it was really hard for me to understand, like, this is my life. It's okay. Like, I am the mother to children whose dad is no longer here. That's not something I can just brush under the rug. It's not the life that I had planned for, but that's what it is.
Right.
And there's no reason to not live like that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, don't fake it. Right.
Right. It took me, honestly, a really long time, probably up until last year, until I could put his photo out in the open in our house.
Wow. Because of you or because of your husband?
Because of me.
Okay.
My husband, he's amazing. No. I had to get to a spot where I was okay with it, but yeah, so much happened after that as well.
So things were pretty good. I mean, you had your normal step family bumps, right?
Yeah.
And then things changed when your ex died.
Hmm.
Your daughter started having some issues.
Yeah, she was just really withdrawn and yeah, typical depression stuff.
And she went to go stay with somebody. Tell me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while. But didn't she go to stay with somebody and then decided she wasn't coming back?
Yeah, so it was the December of 2022. So she has a sister as well. My ex had a daughter. So I started with a blend as well.
You just a blended
Um,
mess.
I love everybody else's kids. Um, my own too. So she had texted me and said, "Hey, if I pay for half a ticket, can Khalees come visit over Christmas break?" I said, "Sure, no problem." You know, she's traveled by herself before. She was going to stay with her. She was, I want to say like 19 at the time, maybe.
Mhm.
So it was my ex's sister who was really going to be in charge and where she was going to stay. So I communicated with her and dropped her off at the airport on December 26th, 2022. And then she didn't come home for 7 months.
And that was a miserable time for you.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you and my heart broke for you because I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. It was like if there's a rock bottom for somebody who, I don't know if that term is used outside of addiction, but that was it.
Well, it was like everybody was against you at that point,
Everybody.
even your daughter.
Hmm. We did not, we barely spoke and we did not talk on the phone. The only communication we had was through texting. And it was typically her asking me for stuff or mad at me for something but I knew for me that I was not going to speak with her about what was bothering her until we both had therapy separately and then together. And I was going to stand my ground because I wasn't going to argue with her and I wasn't going to say what she wanted. She wanted me to leave my husband.
Right. She was trying to make you choose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she had her own reasons and they're valid. Like, she felt like he sexually assaulted her. Now, what had happened, and she and I talked about this while she was up there because a weight was lifted from me when I read her words, and nothing in there was new from what she and I had already talked about. So I felt okay with letting her stay. Getting ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, she had accused your husband of sexual assault.
Mm-hmm. So what it was just a patting on the butt, like you or I
Yeah.
do to our kids. And so a little bit about my husband. He is a great dad. He's a dad's dad, and he's everybody's dad.
Yeah.
So when my kids and I came into the picture, my son had just turned a year old, and my daughter had turning 7, and her dad still lived in New Hampshire. So he knew that, and he just took her under his wing like he would his own kids,
Right.
which was fine with her for a while until her dad died, and then none of that was okay.
Right.
So I had explained to him. I said, "Look, you're not her dad." He goes, "I know, but I'm the dad in the house." And I said, "Yes, but you're not her dad. So
Right.
stop treating her like that. She's just another person here,
Yeah.
not your kid.
And
As much
nothing
as you want
changed.
to be that for her, you can't."
Right.
So
And nothing changed as far as his actions toward her. She just all of a
no,
sudden viewed them differently.
right. Which is completely understandable.
Yeah.
I probably would too.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like an angry, hurt 13-year-old, because when he passed away, we were living in Florida, and his sister had called me and told me, and my husband actually said, "Book a flight and take your daughter and go. I'll stay here with Dexter, my son." Um, so that's what I did. But we were only there for, I want to say, like 5 to 7 days. We buried him and then we flew home. So she's thousands of miles away. How do you go through that?
Right.
Then you're thrown back into your house with, okay, we're back to normal life now. Mom's husband, like, oh,
Yeah, because
that's not what her world was.
she lived there for 7 months.
I felt like it made sense for her to want to be up there because that's where his whole life was.
Right.
And her reason for being up there was, I don't want to be around this man who keeps touching me.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's hard enough to explain to your children why their dad is not in their life. And then on top of that, you had to deal with your daughter making you think that your husband was doing inappropriate things with her.
mm-hmm.
And it could have easily went the other way to where you were like, you perv, we're getting divorced. Just automatically just shut the doors.
Yeah.
Like there's no discussion.
Yeah. And some of my friends had said that I actually talked to a good friend of mine and that was her immediate reaction was, well, if my kid's not comfortable, I would leave. But she also knew me and my ex and the whole situation. And when I talked with her, she understood.
Right. And you knew your current husband enough to know that something wasn't right with the story that was being told.
I did, but I will say this. I stepped away from my marriage in terms of just I didn't say this to him or anything, but he knew that I needed to process a lot and I needed to think about who's this man sleeping next to me? Is what my child is saying. Is there more truth to that? Is it really just what she's saying? Like I really questioned everything.
Right.
Everything. Because if it's true, I'm gone. He's gone. This is my house.
Right.
If it's true, he's gone.
Right.
So yeah, I really had to do a lot of soul searching. I got up early in the mornings was the only way that I could process anything. I'd stand outside in the dark with my feet in the cold. I live in Florida, so it's not always that cold.
Cold to you, though.
Yeah, cold to me. But yeah, I went inward. I don't really know what else I can compare it to except for sort of like a rock bottom. I had to evaluate my entire life.
Yeah.
And what that meant for my son too.
Well, and you didn't want to tell your daughter, I think you're lying.
No. Because she's not, I knew she wasn't going to make up a story.
Right.
So when she left, right, New Year's Day, she called me or the day after and said, I don't want to come home. And that was sort of the catalyst for the whole, she was gone for 7 months. I had 2 days to decide whether or not I was going to go get her or let her stay. 48 hours or less.
I think I told you to go get her.
I think you did.
Yeah. I'd be like, if that was my kid, I would have go get him. Yep.
Most everybody did, but I kept feeling like if I got her, for what reason? Like for whose reason? For mine, because I'm an adult and she's my kid and she should be home? Or do I look at the situation and my hurt child who's never really, not that you can get over, but who's never really properly processed her dad's death.
Right.
And I mean, she's a 13-year-old. Come on.
Yeah, that's bad enough.
Exactly. So I really had to look at all of that. And I didn't talk to anybody for 2 days. And then I just decided and said it out loud to my husband, I think I'm going to let her stay. And he agreed that he was thinking the same thing. That was one of the hardest decisions I ever made.
I can't imagine.
And it still makes me cry.
Well, and I know when you told me that you had decided to let her stay, I understood it. I'm really good at riding the fence. I can see both sides.
Yeah.
And you felt like you bringing her back was not going to be anything positive.
No.
Nothing was going to be resolved. It was just going to be you fighting to get her back, her fighting to leave again. So it's a good thing you did it that way.
Yeah.
Because it could have turned out horribly.
If she had already turned off her location.
Yeah.
Before I had said she could stay, she had turned off her location. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, she could have ended up meeting some guy on the internet that was 30 years old and
Right.
taking
At
off to
least this
Texas.
way, she was safe. I knew that
Right.
she was physically safe. However manipulative the situation might be, I would deal with it later, but she was physically safe and I knew that she would be cared for. So I let
Yeah.
her stay.
And your ex-sister-in-law tried to get your rights taken away, didn't she?
Yeah, before I even allowed her to stay, I said, I'm still thinking about it. Can we talk tomorrow or something like that? And she said, yes, just to let you know, I already filed for temporary guardianship because I didn't want you to get me on kidnapping charges. This is all over text,
Yeah.
thankfully.
But you had to go to court.
Yeah, because she filed for the temporary guardianship and then we had to show up to court virtually, thankfully. And I had already agreed to it by that point, but it had to be legal.
Right.
But she had already registered her for school. How can you do that when you don't have guardianship or anything? It was crazy to
Yeah.
me.
I don't understand that. It's like some people just have the luck of whatever to be able to do
Well,
things
it's
they
a small
shouldn't.
small town. She knew people, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Yeah. So you get your daughter back. Did y'all each go to counseling separately and then together?
I had, I want to say 2, maybe 4 counseling sessions. My last one was actually when she came back, but it was a rough 7 months before she came back. I actually left, so I had to go visit her. Um, so my ex-sister-in-law has guardianship, and my grandmother calls me, my step-grandmother calls and says, who lives up there, and she says, if I fly you and your son up, will you stay with her for 10 days? I said, of course, but why? Well, apparently her aunt was going on vacation with the rest of her kids and didn't want to take my child. You mean the one that you have legal guardianship over right now?
Right.
The one that you're getting her Social Security money for,
Uh-huh.
because you had emailed Social Security and told them that I was misappropriating her funds and that you should be the designee.
Mm-hmm. And it's never like you told her that you wouldn't pay for her to take care of your kid.
Right. But I was strapped as it was.
Right.
So there's never anything extra.
Right.
So how can I send you extra money that I don't have it?
Right.
I did send her what I could, $100 here, $50 there.
Yeah.
But so I did agree that she could get the Social Security money
Mm-hmm.
because I hadn't been able to send her any.
Right.
So I emailed her and said, I'm not contesting it. I just want you to know that it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. She never replied or anything.
And did you go up there for the 10 days?
Yes. So I went up there for the 10 days and it was absolutely horrific at first. Just some travel fiascos. I couldn't get a rental car. It was crazy. But at one point, my daughter and I had an argument. Tensions were kind of high. There was a big elephant in the room that we weren't talking about. We had talked about it a little bit because when I went to pick her up, her aunt had actually said to me over text, I think it's best if you stay outside and don't come in the house. What? You have my child.
Right.
She's living with you. I can't come see her bedroom. I just said, okay. So I waited outside and so that was fun. And then we were in the woods. There was no service. And she and I got into an argument and I said, who do you think you are? And she said, Ani so-and-so's daughter. I was like, okay, let's go. Like, call her. I'm done. But there's no service. It was like the universe was working with me to be like, no, she can't run away just yet.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to get through this.
Yeah. And
There was no service.
the aunt was getting ready to leave too, right?
Oh, she was already gone.
Oh.
she had left. This actually happened at the end of our trip.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 3 days out from me going home. Thankfully, my brother was there, so he was sort of like a buffer. But yeah, I was ready to never ever go back to New Hampshire again.
And leave her.
Yeah. And then I was at the airport and we had said our goodbyes at the cemetery. Me, her sister, her brother. That was hard. And then my son and I left. And I'm sitting at the airport and I got a text from her aunt and she said, "Can we talk?" I was like, great. This is her telling me my kid's never coming back. That wasn't the case. She was actually kicking her out. So that's how my child ended up home.
Did you brought her home with you immediately?
No. So I was at the airport and then I said, "Can we talk the next day?" Because I fully expected her to be like, she's going to live here forever. She's done with you. So we spoke the next day for about 2 hours and she put her on a plane July 30th, I want to say. And then she was home and within a few days she was starting school as a freshman.
Now, how was she when she got home?
I didn't know. So first of all, when they brought her to the airport, they took her cell phone. My phone had got turned off because I couldn't afford it. Mm-hmm. So I was going to a different carrier, getting a new phone. I told the aunt, I have a brand new phone. Here's the phone number. Hadn't even left the store yet. But I hadn't shipped it for like 4 or 5 days. So my stepmother actually bought her a brand new phone, but nobody told me this. I found this out through my sister-in-law. And nobody gave me a phone number to my child.
Parental alienation at its finest.
At its finest, from thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
So they sent her to the airport with no phone. So I don't know if you've ever been to Orlando International, but you have to get on a train to get to baggage claim. Mm-hmm. This is a 13-year-old kid. Thankfully, she's smart and remembered my phone number. So she went to Starbucks and asked someone to use their phone, and I found her. But the 2-hour conversation I had with her aunt, like, terrified me for the kind of child I was picking up. Like, she tried to tell me that she tried to set my house on fire. She was suspended for stealing food, which is all very smidgen of truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was suspended for stealing food. But what she was honest about was that the girl had told her, "You can go in my locker and take snacks." Mm-hmm. But what the camera saw was my child there, and then someone else walked up and took something. So it looked like my child was like, "Hey, free for all."
Right.
That wasn't what happened. Mm-hmm. She's never seen a gas stove in her life. When you turn on a gas stove, it clicks.
Right.
Ooh, what's that? Click, click, click. She's not trying to set your house on fire.
Right.
Tell her what it's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds like your ex-sister-in-law bit off more than she could chew.
I think she got embarrassed because in order for my child to come home, I made them go to court and retract the restraining order because in addition to her staying in New Hampshire, she filed a restraining order against my husband, which of course was granted because we're thousands of miles away.
Right.
So it was for a year, but she was coming back 7 months later. So I said, one of the only ways she's coming home is if that is rescinded and she has to write a note in her handwriting saying that she's okay with it being rescinded. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't want that, hanging over our head.
Right.
She did that. She was supposed to actually notify the court that she was sending my child back home because she was under legal guardianship.
Right.
So the New Hampshire court didn't like that she did that.
Imagine that.
And then she sent her home with basically like the one carry-on luggage she had. I said, take the $100 left from the Social Security that you have and buy her a carry-on luggage. I just bought one for $100 at Walmart. No. And while I was there, I had taken her school clothes shopping. So she had all new clothes. She had a room set up there. She had tapestries, personal things. Obviously, she wasn't going to be able to pack everything, but pack most of what you want as best you can.
Right.
And check it and take it home. And then we'll work on shipping the rest.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Did she ever get any of that stuff?
We got one item back. And the only reason we got it back was because my daughter told me to check a certain thrift store Facebook page that her aunt would frequent and she knew the owner of. And sure enough, one of her Loungefly backpacks that my mom had given her for Christmas was up for sale for $75.
So she sold your daughter's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still talk to this woman?
No.
Okay.
She and her children blocked my daughter and me, but blocked my daughter on social media, on the phone.
Well, your daughter is much better off not dealing with the crazy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it hurt her feelings, but
it's funny. We just had a conversation yesterday about all of this. And she was like, because she had talked to her sister and she was like, I'll sit and have a conversation, but we're going to have a conversation and you're going to answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just going to pretend like none of this ever happened.
Right. Wonder where she gets that from.
I don't know. I wasn't always like that though. Like, honestly, that whole situation pulled that out of me because I walked around with half of my heart not here for 7 months. I mean,
Shattered.
You have kids. Yes. And
yeah.
You have kids, and I don't know if they go back and forth, but my kids never went back and forth. They were just always with me.
Right.
So 24/7.
Yeah.
And for most of her life prior to that, it really was just me and her because her dad worked during the day, all day at a tattoo shop.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked overnight. So during the day, it was just me and her.
Right. Yeah. She was your little buddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was gone.
Yeah. Well, I know even my son just going to his dad's every other weekend and for holidays and whatnot. I still, part of my heart was gone every other weekend. And, I couldn't get in touch with him there for a while because, his dad wouldn't cooperate with stuff like that. But once Jackson got a cell phone, it was a lot better because he could text me and stuff. I can't imagine, though, not having any contact with my child.
Yeah, and it was a choice that I had to make, too, because I could text her, and I did, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, she was so angry that...
It hurt you too much to do that.
Right. Like, I'm just telling you, I love you.
Right.
Like, me telling you it's not doing anything except for maybe I miss it one day and you get upset.
Right. It wasn't appreciated, but was expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing it.
Right. Right.
So my daughter had to teach me how to set boundaries.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Which I think as children, we need to be taught that because we're not.
No.
Because we're told you can't set boundaries because the adult tells you everything to do. Right.
Right.
Yeah. So she's back home.
Yes.
She's doing good in school.
Yeah.
Is she still doing cheer?
So the craziness didn't stop there. So she actually made varsity cheerleader her freshman year, which was amazing. I was a JV coach, so that was fun. We got to kind of do it together. But she went to one varsity game, and then the practice before her second game, she fell 13 feet from the air onto the mat, and nobody caught her. And she injured C3, 2, 3, and 4 in her neck.
Why didn't somebody catch her? I mean, I know that sounds like a crazy question, but...
She actually backed up.
She backed up?
And then, yeah.
The person that was supposed to catch her?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after she fell, sports med was on site, but they didn't bring her there. The cheerleader just brought her to the locker room. So this was actually a couple years ago. She still has the effects. I actually had to take her out and homeschool her because she couldn't handle being in school all day. She would come down. I was actually her school nurse. And she would come down to my office after 45 minutes of first period, and I could see it in her face. Yeah, there's just this look that somebody with a concussion has. I can't explain it. But when it was really affecting her.
Did the girl intentionally not
No,
catch her?
it wasn't intentional. The stunt was falling.
And it freaked her out?
Yeah.
Okay. I was making sure that she didn't have some kind of like ill will toward her or something.
No,
girl,
I don't
we
think
will,
so.
we will go home to Florida. We will.
No, but I mean, she had just been recording too. My daughter had been secretly recording. And the coach was like, okay, enough. But as a coach, I was a coach too. I like to record because then you can look back. You have only 2 eyeballs.
Right.
You can't see everything. And looking back with phones, thank the Lord, you can slow motion them.
Right.
Like, it should be used as a teaching tool. But yeah.
Yeah. So I bet your son was ecstatic when she came back home.
Oh my gosh, yes. He's actually traumatized, the poor kid. When she came home and then started doing like cheer and football and going out to games and stuff, he was like, where are you going? When are you coming home? Who are you going with? And I mean, I don't want to make light of it, the poor thing, but like, he really was upset. He would cry. Like, he didn't think she was coming back.
Yeah. His whole life, all he's known is you, her, your husband, and your husband's 2 kids. I mean, that's the family unit that he's had.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of the other 2 kids bouncing in and out like little jelly jumping beans or whatever, but that's his family and that's his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also dealing with the death of his dad.
Yeah, because he didn't know right away. He was 4, and he didn't know that my husband was his stepdad. That was just the man that he knew. We didn't make any distinctions or anything like that. Like, he sort of found out because it was just natural. He was a little bit older. Excuse me, my daughter and I were talking. We were talking, and I think he sort of just was always listening and was like, oh, is that my dad too? And I'm like, yeah. So that was sort of how we found out that he had a different dad than the one that he had been known to. But yeah, his little, I want to say 6, 7-year-old knew that he had a dad that he was never going to see.
He never saw him.
Mm-mm. I have 3, maybe 4 pictures of the 2 of them.
When he was a baby.
I have 4 pictures, and 3 of them were taken on the Friday I was in the hospital with him.
Wow.
So really, 2 pictures.
And your ex, he was an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember before you left him, you thought he was doing better than you realized he had relapsed.
Yeah.
And then you decided to leave because a lot of stuff came with that relapse, right?
It wasn't even the relapse. That's how naive I was. I left because I had found out he had cheated. And after 6 months of trying, he wasn't trying. It was sort of like a thought, like God spoke to me, something said to me. I was sitting on my couch. I remember vividly. And my son was not even a month old. And I just remember thinking, I need a divorce. I was like, holy crap. And I immediately went to our Facebook because those 15 or so women knew more about me than anybody else. And that's who that's who I went to when I realized I needed a divorce.
And then you ended up writing a book.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your book. What is your book about? Well, first of all, what's the name of it?
It's called How Did We Get Here?
How did we get here?
Mhm. Actually, my
And
daughter gave me the title
I like that.
because that was going to be the name of part 2. And she stopped me and was like, that's the title. I was like, it is.
So, what is it? What all is entailed in the book? What is it about? Because I know my sister had some addiction issues. It is hard on the addict, but it is harder on the family. I swear it is. And I've got a friend that used to be an addict, and she is now a preacher. And another friend that was an addict, and she is now a counselor for addicts. So, I've seen what happens and how it affects those around them. And I've also seen how it can be turned into good. And I have a feeling your book is to help this turn into good.
I hope so.
So tell
I
us
have
about
chills.
it. Because I'm impressed. And my Nacho book is finally fully edited. I'm getting
Yay!
ready to upload it to KDP, Amazon, whatever. And it is releasing on Step Family Day.
What day is
September
that?
16th, I think it is.
Oh, it's so far away.
I know, but I wanted it to be a special day, and I didn't
I
want to.
hear you.
I wanted to promote it, and
Yeah.
do all the stuff
Give
you're
it
supposed to do,
time to get
right?
out there. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
I'm so
plus,
excited for you.
this is such a big learning curve for me, and I probably need to talk to you about KDP because I know nothing about any of this stuff, and I had to learn how to use Atticus and Affinity and all this stuff. But anyway, so I'm proud of you for writing this book because I know it's
Thank
not
you.
easy at all. I mean, this took me 7 years, if not longer.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I heard about this a while ago.
Yeah. So
Um,
tell us about it.
so when my daughter was gone, I started to journal again, but for me that meant sitting with my computer and typing it out because it was faster and nobody knew what I was doing.
Mhm.
Like I could do it sitting next to people. Um, and I saved all those and I never intended to like look at them again or whatever, but I don't know, something happened and I was like, after she came home and we immediately started talking and sort of like clearing the air and I was like, okay, this I have my child. This isn't some twisted psychopath. She was told by her aunt, I'm not sure if your mom's going to want you back. You might have to go to a psychiatric hospital.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Now, you see, I know our listeners don't know your daughter, and I don't know her, but my heart knows her because I've known you for so long, and I still remember the little freckle girl and how
Yeah.
cute she is. And anytime you talk about her, that's what I see in my head. So I'm thinking, who told her that
I
crap?
know.
Like, okay, I need that woman's address. What's Skankhoa, New Hampshire's address? Because we're getting ready to go tear it up. Sorry, the redneck comes out. I can't help it.
It's okay. It's okay. I had to keep it, hidden for 7
It's a
months.
good thing we didn't live close to each other.
You know.
I'll be like, come on,
So
girl, we're going to ride.
she came back, and once I finally sort of like realized, okay, I have my child, it was as crazy as I anticipated. We talked. I didn't give her a phone back for like 4 months. She was a freshman in high school.
Oh, gosh.
I think it was actually my husband who was like, do you think we can get her a phone now?
She probably felt like she was Amish or something. I can't use technology.
Yeah. I let her use an iPad at home, whatever, but I didn't give her the phone. So
You had to punish her somehow, right?
exactly. Like so so once I realized everything was okay and I was sort of like healed, which is a silly term because there's no end in sight for that sort of thing. But um I just started to write it down. And it actually started when I first wrote it, the very first draft, it started with me driving with her in the car to bring her to the airport. And then my feelings, because when I put her on that plane, I actually had a feeling that I wasn't going to see her again. not that like her plane was going to crash. It wasn't a catastrophe. It was just an odd feeling. And I'm like, Tab, you're stupid. Shut up. You don't manifest that.
I get it 100%, but I'm telling you right now, I told my son one time he was going duck hunting and it was like negative 20 degrees. And I said, if I wake up in the morning and I have a bad feeling, you're not going, period.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Well,
discussion.
yeah, she's recently traveled within the state and she's like, do you have a bad feeling? I'm like, no, you're good. When I tell you though, like our relationship now is so much better. And she was right beside me the whole time I wrote this book. So I wrote it in that sort of way, and and then I looked at it and said, no, I really have to go back. Like I have to build the relationship, because it really was going to be just called 7 months, and it was going to be about my journal entries and my time during that 7 months. But you can't really get a full picture of why that was so difficult and why she was gone if I don't tell the whole story.
Right.
So I had to tell the whole story.
Yeah.
So I actually pulled out journals that I kept when I was pregnant with her. And I went way back to the very first time that I met her dad in my office, because I was a drug and alcohol counselor. But that's how we met. And that's how the book opens. And so when I say that, like, I'm an open book, like I literally am. The book opens with me doing something bad.
Right. Yeah.
But then it just goes through. There's journal entries, there's real conversations that he and I have. He wrote me letters the entire time he was at rehab for 30 days. So I put those in the book. Because I felt like his thoughts, I did that for two reasons. I felt like his thoughts on his recovery while he was clean were very important to people. And later on, his thoughts when he relapses, and our conversations, our private conversations, as husband and wife, when I found out he cheated on me.
Yeah.
I went through all of our Facebook messages. So when I say that, like,
girl, you were just had to relive the pain, didn't you? You just had to do it to yourself.
I relived it all between the hours of 5 and 7 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday.
And tried not to let it affect the rest of the days and times.
Exactly. So, yeah. But honestly, doing that, like writing the book, it got me to a space where I can live sort of like two lives. Like I can live this life where I'm talking about my previous husband and, you know, how much I loved him and we have kids together and blah, blah, blah. But then I can switch and, you know, go to dinner with my husband and not have any grief. Like I had to work through my own grief was really, I think, what this was.
Right.
Because it wasn't until I was done with the book that I could put his picture on the wall. And because I wasn't doing it for me anymore.
Right. And I know when you left him, you didn't stop loving him.
No.
But you knew you had to get away from that.
Yeah. He relapsed, and I think I didn't realize it at the time. I don't think I was as conscious of it at the time, but I was being pushed to move far away because it was never going to get any better. And my kids didn't deserve to live like that. So
and he did OD. That's how he passed away.
He did. 11 days. He was actually 11 days out of a completed 30-day rehab. And he had actually OD'd 2 days prior. He was in the hospital.
And got out and did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Does your book talk in depth about the addiction as well? I mean, obviously it does because it talks about the letters when he was in rehab and stuff, but...
Yes, but it's not graphic. So the book's written from my perspective. I was really careful when I wrote this because in the end, I also realized... This made me cry. I realized that I had written the story of my life with my ex-husband for my kids.
Yeah.
My son will never know him, so, and he always has questions. Like, we always talk about him, so he doesn't feel like he can't ask questions.
Yeah, I
And
saw a
so,
picture you put on Facebook where he said, "Is this like something my dad would wear?" You were like, "Yeah." He looked like a little
yeah,
thug.
yeah, he's always doing things like that. So, um, when I say like I went through Facebook, like he was a tattoo artist, so I went through every last one of his photos he ever posted about tattoos he did on himself. I created a roadmap of his tattoos and timestamps and dates where he tattooed himself and why. When he did my tattoos, why he did my tattoos. Um,
That's going to be awesome for your son
yeah,
and
my
for
husband
police.
actually tried to read it, but he got like 4 pages in and was like, I can't. You
Yeah.
love another man.
Yeah, that's got to be weird. And I was thinking about this because, you know, a lot of people that are widows or widowers and they remarry, they feel like they're competing with a ghost. Well, your ghost didn't enter the picture until
Right.
years into your marriage.
Yeah, and I wondered that too, but I didn't see any sort of like change in him. He just he's like a rock. He's just there for whatever I need.
Mhm.
Like he wasn't there like offering, oh hey, let's go do this, like, when my daughter wasn't around. But he knew he knew the important things. He knew if I needed to be alone. He knew if I needed to go drive.
And he didn't take it personally.
No,
Right.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
So, and that was important because if I didn't have that and he took it personal, I would have never been able to. I mean, I might not even be here still married to him
Right.
because I needed to go through that. And I was 100% honest with him. Like, look, I'm questioning our marriage.
Yeah.
There was no secrets whatsoever
Well, it's
because it was a matter of, do I stay or do I leave? It's my child or it's him,
right.
essentially.
And she wasn't helping you with that decision. She was pushing you.
Right. But then, if I leave him and she comes home, she's still hurt. She's still grieving. She's still her.
And your son lost another dad.
Right. Like, and what about me?
Right. Yeah.
I had to learn that being selfish is not a bad thing.
Now, what is her relationship like with your husband now?
They have a good relationship. They sort of understand what it is and what its boundaries are. And he just takes her and runs with it, if that makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
oh, she's going to give me this. Okay. Oh, okay. We're not doing this. Like,
He lets her lead the relationship.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
And,
important.
things with her car, she has a car now. So things with her car we handle and he does. She has no problem asking him things. Like, when I tell you my child is matured, I feel like, and please don't kick me in the butt. I feel like if she were to go out tomorrow and get an apartment nearby,
Like
I
next
would
door.
be, yeah, no, like I would be okay. She'd be a good citizen. She has a job. She gets up. She goes to work. You know,
Yeah.
she's a functioning human being in society,
Yeah.
and she's not afraid. She's not afraid. She's not afraid to speak her mind. She's not afraid to ask questions. She's not afraid to be like, excuse me, don't do that.
I mean, look, she navigated the airport by herself.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the whole time she was gone, I thought she planned that with them. I didn't learn until months after she was home. That was all her own brainchild,
Mhm.
all by herself. And I think that's why they were so embarrassed.
Yeah.
because they were duped by a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
I mean,
well, one thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is you had mentioned that your ex had OD'd before the couple of days before and was in the hospital. And I know my friend that was an addict that is now a preacher, she deals a lot with addicts. And one of the things that she said that is so sad to me is if a group of people get a hold of the drugs and one of them has to use Narcan, all of a sudden, all these people want to know where'd they get it? Where'd they get it? Not because they want to stay away from it, but because they want it, because that's the good stuff.
mm-hmm.
And, you know, some people will say it's not a disease. I disagree with that.
I disagree with that. And I actually told him I disagree with that. And I wrote that in the book. So again, I'm an open book. Come for me.
Well,
I've built my armor.
The way that I look at it is there's this guy that I knew through other people. And he recently decided that he didn't want to live anymore. And on his Facebook page, if you went back 5 years, he begged for help. But it's almost the same as with an addict. There's only so much you can do.
Well, yeah.
These are demons. It's the demon of negativity in your head. It's the demon of you never will be good enough, or everybody would be better off without you, or the demon of drugs or alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
They're demons. And some people, I'm not going to say aren't strong enough, because that I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair to say about them. I think some people just succumb to it, and some people are blessed and lucky to overcome it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way that can be said.
Well,
because I don't believe it's a disease, and the leg I stand on is that his mother passed away from cancer 8 months before he died. She didn't choose that. It was cervical cancer.
Right.
There was nothing she could do. She couldn't go to rehab and make it go away.
Right.
She couldn't go to therapy and talk about whatever made her cervix angry.
So you say you don't think it's a disease, or you do?
I don't, because he had a choice. And I told him that. You have a choice. Your mother did not.
Now, I see your point, but I do believe that it is a disease to the effect of it changes your brain chemistry.
Well, yes.
And so you're not, quote, you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like my sister, God love her, and I changed my mind with her, because in the beginning I was like you. I was like, no, you can't blame it on anything. Well, so-and-so in the family, I don't care. You made that choice. You continue to do this. This is your decision. But I saw it. It really, she couldn't fight that choice. She didn't have the strength to fight it. So, and I'd seen her overcome so much other things. So it's like, it has to be.
It's like a minute by minute decision.
Yeah.
And
my son's father, we'll just say, I'll edit that out. My son has alcoholics in his family. And I told my son, I said, you can look at this and say, that generational curse stops with me. You can break it. Now, whether you break that by drinking and saying, oh, it's not going to happen to me because I've got the strength to fight it off, or you say, I'm never going to drink. I said, those are your choices. But just know that those people in your family that were alcoholics, including my sister, didn't take that first drink and think, I'm going to be an alcoholic.
No one does.
Right. And I don't know if you've ever looked into it, but they've studied, like, I don't know what it is. I'm not all scientific and stuff, but like the structure, maybe your DNA or whatever, something is different when you have alcoholism in your family. And it's the same thing with addicts. There's something's not right, right?
I've read that. I've heard that too. Yeah, that there's like a chemical imbalance or predisposition
Right. Yeah, maybe
for,
that's probably
yeah,
a good way to put it. So to me, I think that's why I look at it as it is a disease, because there's something different with these people than people that don't have that predisposition.
that makes sense. I can respect
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's like I said, I used to think the same way that it wasn't. I was like, oh, that's BS. You're just making excuses. But
Well, I mean, when you compare when you look at it at the surface, which is what most people do,
mhm,
I really appreciate how in depth you just brought me because it makes me look at it differently. But when you just look at the surface and you're talking about diseases and you're talking about, cancer and various other diseases. I mean, his father lost a leg because he got a disease when he was sick in the hospital.
mhm,
Again, not his choice.
right,
And these were choices my ex-husband made to pick up again. These
right,
were choices he made 2 days after almost dying in a hospital to go to a dealer's house.
right. Yeah,
But that wasn't him.
right,
That wasn't the man that I married.
right. That was
So,
the addict.
right.
Yeah. Well, I know you know as well as I do that it don't matter what side of the street you're from, what color you are, anything. There is a drug issue in the United States, definitely, but all over the world.
Everywhere. My own husband now stopped drinking because I said, you can choose the drink or you can choose me because I've done this before and I won't do it again.
Yep. Well, and that's your boundaries, right? And I know when I made my list about what I was looking for in a partner before I met David, it was I didn't want somebody that had had a DUI. I
Mm,
didn't want somebody that could only go out to eat if they served alcohol,
mm.
because I had been in a relationship that alcohol was a priority, and I had been in a marriage that alcohol was a problem. And I didn't want that again.
It's so common.
It is. And, when we were growing up, I'm older than you, but when we were growing up, it was weed and beer and maybe Mad Dog 2020, you know. But now it's some harder stuff. Even the weed's a lot harder than it used to be.
It's scary. My daughter, she goes out with friends, but thankfully, thankfully we talk. I'm like, Dad's watching you. But again, we're open. We talk about like, what are the different drugs? What are they going to do to you? Because information is, if you don't have the knowledge, you can't make the right decisions.
Right.
I
And
mean,
since her dad was an addict, is she more prone to be one? Because, and
exactly.
the reason I say this is, of course, I'm not trying to make you think anything negative about your daughter or, get upset or
You can't
whatever.
tell me anything I haven't already thought.
I know. But a friend of mine, when she was going through counseling for her marriage, they made her go back like everybody in her family for 3 generations who was married and who was divorced. Like her uncle had got divorced 3 times, her aunt had got divorced, whatever, all this. They're like, you basically had a 0% chance to stay in your first marriage because of all this other stuff. So how does that impact them when it's their choice, right? It's
Mhm.
like something, it comes from where you came from, right?
Well, and she's got it stacked against her because my grandfather was an alcoholic. He had got sober by the time I was born, but he was an alcoholic. Her grandfather on his side was an alcoholic.
And alcoholism is an addiction.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's the only addiction that you can die from during withdrawal.
Alcoholism.
That's the only drug. You may feel like you're dying coming off other things, but you can physically die from alcohol withdrawal, which is why if you're alcohol dependent, you need to medically detox. You need to be under the care
Like
of a
taper off
doctor.
and stuff. I
With
didn't know that.
medicine.
I had
hmm
an aunt that I think she got on something besides weed. And I don't know exactly what it was because I was younger, but I remember, number one, having to go see her at like a detox rehab place. I don't know why my mama took me there. It was like in the middle of the hood at night, and I was
Oh
scared to
gosh,
death. And then another
trying to scare
time,
you.
like a couple years later, she detoxed on our couch. And it was horrible watching her. Like, I mean, shaking, sweating, puking,
Hmm.
crapping. I mean, just wanting to die. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I just, and maybe that's a blessing, was a blessing for me because maybe it kept me from doing some things that I might would have done otherwise.
You remembered it.
Oh, you see something like that, you never forget it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Just like you've seen a lot.
Yes, which is why I wrote the book, because I'm not the only one. Like,
No.
that's the thing. Like, I'm not the only one that experienced some hard shit and felt like I wasn't gonna come out of it.
No.
So, but I did.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll help someone.
I'm just curious. When was the last time you talked to your ex before he died?
He said, headed to sober living. He passed away July 8th, and I believe that was a few days before. 11 days, actually. He had left rehab, said leaving rehab, going to a sober living. So 11 days before he passed away.
Wow.
Hmm.
And two, for some reason, I feel the need to say this to you. Yes, he had the choice to do that day. But I think if he truly knew that he was going to die, he wouldn't have done it.
Oh, no.
You know what
No.
I'm saying?
Yeah. A couple of people had asked if I thought he did it on purpose, and my immediate reaction is absolutely not.
Yeah, and I don't even mean from a suicide standpoint. I mean,
No, but so here's the thing, and this is the only like graphic detail, I guess, is that when he was found, he was in the bathroom and he was found on his side, like he had just fallen over.
mhm,
But in his hand was a spoon. So he was a smart addict, and he had told me this before. So, and his sister had told me this, is that she believes that he knew he was going out and was trying to get his cocaine to bring him up.
yeah,
So
yeah, because there's that fine line.
it was fentanyl.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Hmm.
What is it? One little like the size of a piece of sand
Yeah.
can kill you or kill a bunch of
Hmm.
people.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. And you see kids. This is what's so scary. When I was growing up, if somebody was talking about they took a Xanax, they knew they were taking a Xanax.
Right. You don't know what you're taking these days.
No, you
That's what I've
don't.
always told my kids. I had to tell my daughter when she was 8 years old, because he was so in and out of her life. I had to explain to her. I said, listen, daddy does some things that make him want to do those things all the time. And they make him not be a nice person sometimes.
Mhm.
And I thought it was going to be a devastating conversation because I know what drugs are, but her 8-year-old self didn't know. And she's like, okay. I'm like, it doesn't mean he doesn't love you, but that's why he doesn't call you as much and blah, blah, blah. So I had sort of unknowingly prepared her for his death.
Yeah. Well, there's some things, hard discussions I had to have with my son. And it wasn't that I was trying to make his dad be a bad person. It's I wanted my son to be prepared
Right.
and to stay safe and be smarter than the average bear.
No.
That's what I used to always tell him, be smarter than the average bear. And one day he said, Mommy, I said, what? He's probably 10 at this point. He said, is my dad the average bear?
Oh my God. He figured it out.
And
I love
well,
it.
it's something, the side note, which is funny, is I used to go drop stuff off at the end of the driveway because his dad wouldn't let me come up in the driveway, right? So if Jackson needed something, I'd drop it off at the end of the driveway. Well, he would tell Jackson that the troll that lived under the bridge left it for him.
Oh my gosh.
So I was the troll. And Jackson told me one day, I said, did you get whatever I left? He said, my daddy said the troll left that. So I messaged his dad about something, a week later or something. It was about school. And I said, and I signed it The Troll. I was like, I know what games you're playing.
Oh, The Troll. I'm going to send you one for Christmas.
Well, it has been great talking to you, and I could talk to you forever. You know that. But
I
show us your
know.
book so we'll know what it looks like so we can go order it. It's on
Fine.
Amazon?
Yes, it's on Amazon. It won't come with a not for resale, I promise.
There you go. I love the design.
And it's on Kindle. It's on Kindle too. It's the same title, but the cover looks different, but it's the same.
Okay. All right. I like hard copies though. I like to turn the pages.
And I've put it in for audio, so that's coming soon.
Are you going to do it?
I don't think I can.
I think you can.
I don't know.
And the reason I say this is you're going to put the emotion where it needs to be.
I know.
Just like I don't want to do my Nacho book, but it's not going to be right if it ain't in a Southern accent.
I need the audio version.
Be like, welcome, y'all.
I can't wait.
But I have faith in you. You can do it.
I have faith in you. Finish your book, Lori.
Well, thank you. I'm getting there. I'll have to send you a copy of it and let you read it and see what you think.
Yes, we'll talk about how to get it out there.
Yes. Good Lord, I'm tired, girl. And I've looked at it so much, it's like I see stuff that isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you're writing another book, aren't you?
I am. I actually have like 10 in the works, but yes.
All right. Well, we're going to have you back for your second book.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was good. I'm figure out how to stop this. There we go.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And remember that life is good.
And it really is when you nacho.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nacho Kids Podcast. Find us online at nachokids.com. Until next time, remember, life is good when you nacho.